All right, everybody, welcome to Tech and Pride. Today I'm talking to a very distinguished friend of mine. His name is Lundin Mathews. He is co-founder and CEO of Admin Remix. So, London, welcome to the show.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here. I appreciate you reaching out to me.
All right, outstanding. Now, this is, of course, about just giving people some more insight into different technology fields. I know it could be kind of boring, so we're trying to put some vibe into it, some life into it. We definitely want to encourage you to hit us up, ask us questions, and so on and so forth. So, London, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, so my name is Lundin Mathews. I am, like Lafayette said, the co-founder and CEO of Admin Remix. We specialize in IT software for mostly school districts in managing their Chromebooks. Yeah, we've been doing it for almost 2 years now. And a little bit about my background is started out as a teacher, a PE teacher, and somehow found my way into a software developer role.
Okay, all right, we got to pause you right there. So I'm going to ask the question everybody's going to, how do you go from PE to technology? That doesn't even...
Yeah. Yeah, so younger... I loved Legos. I loved building things, but I never really knew that you could make a career out of like adult Legos, which is what I call software when people ask, right? It's adult Legos to me.
Okay.
And I went to school to be a teacher. That's all I ever really knew. My mom was a teacher, and I said, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a coach. Went into PE, started teaching, and that was not for me. I wanted to get out of PE, and they had a opening on a campus to be a web design teacher, and I knew nothing about web design. So this is probably 6-7 years ago. And they said, "Oh, you're smart. You'll figure it out." So I studied everything I could, and the kids really were into it, and it got me excited about it, and I started learning. And from there, I moved my way into an IT department for a school district. And from there, it just kind of continued to become a passion of mine, and every single day learning, and took that and started doing software consulting for different companies, like Under Armour, Avanor, which is the Norwegian government agency, things like that.
Okay, so you didn't really have any formal technology training. You were just basically like a hobbyist, someone who loved it, right? Basically, that's how you got started.
Yeah, I mean, I watched hundreds of hours of YouTube.
Okay.
And went from copying and pasting different code I found on the internet to being able to solve those problems myself. And this is not like an overnight journey. This is, I probably could have gone to college and it would have taken less time. But it took me 5 or 6 years to really understand software development and coding and figuring it out.
So one of the things that I always stress to our young people is that there's so many different areas that you can get into. How did you know that coding was your niche or was your strong point? Because I know you know how to build computers and do all the other stuff too. So how did you figure out coding was where it was at?
Yeah, so I think going back to when I was little, just being able to build things to me was always what got me excited, right? And so being able to take something from nothing at all and then have something working that people look at and they see and they use and see the inner workings for it was what really got me excited. And so I honestly didn't know that coding was what excited me until I started exploring different pieces of IT.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but you just took the coding like it just made sense to you, basically.
No, no, I wouldn't say it made sense at all to start out with. No.
Okay.
It was like it was like banging my head into a wall to try to figure it out, and I feel like I just didn't stop banging my head into a wall, but I knew that that's what I wanted to do because I wanted to build things.
Okay. And the reason I ask that question again is because a lot of people may say, okay, how do I know what to do? I mean, I like technology, but how do I know what area to go in? And that's what I always say is figure out what it is that you're good at or whatever you get. which kind of is like the opposite to what you're saying, because it's like you kind of forced yourself into it, you know?
Yeah.
Like me,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, like me, I always know that like I had a knack for like desktop support, like helping people solve their problems, because it came easy to me, you know, whatever the problem is, you know, whatever software, whatever hardware. So I kind of fell into that. So your journey was a little bit different. So that's kind of what I wanted to identify.
Yeah, you know, and you know, kind of my backstory a little bit more than I think I'm letting people onto, but I did IT help desk as well for a little while,
Right.
and it just didn't excite me, right? Like I knew I loved technology, but that wasn't for me, and I tried a little bit of everything. I mean, I tried network admin stuff and building servers, and I tried. You know, the help desk side, and I mean, you kind of know I've tried a little bit of everything, but it was always just building software and putting those Lego pieces together was what really got me excited. Once I started to figure it out, but it was the learning side of it is what took a long time for me.
Okay. Now, I've tried to learn from you on several occasions, which was a lost cause because your brain works totally different from mine. So, how do you explain to someone what coding really is? How would you break it down? How would you make it easy?
Yeah, so I would say that it's linear problem solving, right? So it's being able to look at a large problem and break it down into the smallest chunk of problem you need to solve first, and then going for the next step, and only ever solving that smallest problem and then building to the big problem. So it's really just about breaking down problems.
Okay. All right. So the thing that I always tell our young kids about coding, the easiest way to understand coding is basically telling a machine or telling a program what you want it to do. It's like saying, okay, I want you to do this. When I click this button, I want you to do this. When I hit this command, I want you to do this. Is that a fair way to explain it?
Yeah, that would be accurate as far as like what you're getting the computer to do. I think that's pretty fair. I think in terms of like, why would someone want to get into it, right? And like what it is in the terms of like why it's important is I think it's important in that you're solving problems, right? Like it's the same thing that excited you about help desk because you were solving someone's problem,
right?
You know, software for me is just solving more people's problem in a programmatic way using the computer and telling the computer how to solve someone's problem. That's how I like to picture it.
Okay. I mean, that's basically the same concept. Okay, so I know you do a lot of different things. I know you try to tone it down a little bit, so we'll keep it simple. So let's talk about Admin Remix. Tell us about what Admin Remix is all about and how you came up with the concept for it.
Yeah, so Admin Remix we specialize in software mostly for school districts, but all G Suite admin, and giving them the tools to do their job better, faster, and spend more time out doing their actual job and not like writing code themselves. So we write the code for them. We our kind of claim to fame software. We've got a piece of software called Chromebook Getter, which is a tool built on top of Google's APIs. An API is how computers talk to one another. And so we've got a set of tools that's built on top of that allows these G Suite administrators to download data, edit data in a much faster way than is possible on their own.
Okay, so to make it simple, you've taken something that was already created and given users an ability to use it more efficiently.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so we do that. We also do help desk software, which everybody kind of understands, everybody uses. And so we do zero data entry help desk software. We're the only company out that has zero data entry help desk software, which is unique to us.
What does that, break that down for me? What does that mean?
Yeah, so it's really important when you're dealing with data that you don't have any errors in the data. And so I kind of saw this need that help desk software allowed users to input their own data into, say, like serial numbers and asset tags and things like that, that in the IT field we were using to determine risk and costs, right? And so we essentially made it so that our software already knows that information when you go to put in your help desk ticket, so you no longer have to type that information in.
Okay.
And then we also have inventory management software. So school districts use that to do tax depreciation. They use that to determine, forecasting of budgets and things like that.
Okay. So basically just back-end software is pretty much what you do.
Yeah, it would never be something that you as an individual would go out and say, I want to use this today. We mostly deal with large enterprise schools and businesses, right? So some of our users are actually Google themselves use our software. Shopify, everyone's heard of Shopify. Air Asia uses our software. And then some of the largest school districts in the nation use our software, right? So like Cleveland Public Schools, Houston ISD, Miami-Dade Public Schools, and that's just to name a few off the top of my head.
Okay. So again, your journey was a little bit unique, and I always tell you, you're a unique individual. So, so it's not something that you can. No, that's a compliment. Don't say okay, like you know how we go. So, no, but the point I'm driving at is it's not something that you can necessarily go to school and learn how to do or how to be. Now you can learn the basics of programming, of different languages, and so on and so forth. But as far as a career path to getting to where you are right now, what advice would you give to young people that want to get to where you are?
Man, that's such a hard question.
Yeah. Because everybody's very different. But just let's say like a career path. What would be a good path to get to where you are?
Man, honestly, I think because I was not good at school, I couldn't focus, right? So like, I don't know if school is the path for everybody, right? It works for some people. It wasn't the path for me. And I don't know if saying going to college really got me where I was, right? I would say, honestly, what got me where I am more than anything was, to where I am now is kind of, and I wouldn't even say at the top of a hill, I would say kind of like in the middle of a hill. But it took, 20 or 30 failed attempts to build something to get here, right? So I would say if you want to be an entrepreneur, especially in the tech space, build things, right? And even if it's outside of the tech space. So I can tell you that, when I was in high school, I had a power washing business, right? So I was out there power washing, putting flyers out, learning marketing for that. I had a DJ business in college where I did DJ'd weddings, right? And that's how I paid for college. Right. And then after college, I was like, I still had this passion to own a business and run a business. And so, we started selling online on Amazon, which a lot of people don't know about is, you can sell books on Amazon. So I was sourcing books and selling books and all of those things were okay, but they all led up to kind of this business, right? And it took all that hustle and grind of practicing and trying different things and learning about myself and how I operate to kind of get to this plateau where we're at now.
Mm-hmm. So what you're basically saying is that the rules never change, which is hard work, persistence, right? Which is what we always talk about. If there's anything that you want to succeed in life you have to work hard at it. And you may not succeed at the first attempt, Right. You go through it, left, right, and center, up, down, until you figure it out. You figure out what actually works for you.
Yeah, I think the kids say just grind on it, right? You
grind on it.
Yeah, you just gotta grind, man. It's not gonna come easy. No one's gonna give it to you.
Right.
you just have to keep working, and it's like the same way with learning how to code for me, right? Just keep banging your head into a wall. Just be that guy that won't stop, that won't take no for an answer, that won't let anybody stand in their way.
Absolutely, absolutely. But the bottom line is it takes hard work and determination. I mean, you could have all the education in the world, but what determines your success is your drive and your motivation.
100%.
Because you created a lane for yourself. I mean, the road was already there, but you created your own lane and you created your own product. And that's amazing. And that's something that I always give you credit for. So I would encourage, anybody watching this video to always think independently. Look at a problem, look at something that you can make better, or you can, if you can make it operate more efficiently, and that's technically what Lundin does. So it's not, well, I would say that not that big of a deal, but that's technically what you need to do if you want to achieve a great level of success, right?
Yeah, I absolutely would agree with that statement. It's find a problem. It doesn't even have to be, we can relate this back to tech all we want, but it doesn't have to be about tech. Find any problem that you think you can do better, right? It doesn't have to take a lot of capital. It doesn't have to take a lot of anything besides effort on your part. Right. If you think that you can be, and I'll bounce back to what I did in high school. If you think you can power wash driveways and houses better than anybody else, and you grind at it, you will be successful at it, right? You just cannot take no for an answer when it comes to trying to be successful, because it's not going to be handed to you.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Lundin. Well, thank you so much for spending the time and talking with us today. I do appreciate it. I know you said a lot. Is there anything finally that you want to put out there to everybody that's watching this video?
Oh man. I think if anybody is watching this, or everybody that's watching this, right? If this kind of resonates with you and you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I think, Lafayette, you can tag my email or tag me on Twitter in the description of the video. I'm happy to meet with anybody and everybody that reaches out. I love meeting with people and just talking through any problems you might have, and just being cheerleader for you if you feel like you want to reach out and my personality or whatnot resonates with you.
Right. All right. Cool beans. Lundin, thank you so much. I wish you continued success, and we'll talk to you another time. All right.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Cool. Have a good one.
You too.